Hi, everybody. Welcome in to Mark's Backyard Birds. Hope everybody's having a wonderful night here in uh, mid to late December already. Boy, the year's running out. That's it quickly is happening. We started out this morning at like 50 degrees. I was walking the dog this morning, Morgan's dog Lily, who I was hoping would make an appearance, but she's not being very cooperative, so might not get to see Lily tonight. But and by the time I got back to the house, which I didn't think I was on a long walk, man, the wind had shifted out of the north, and man, it got cold fast, and it's really cold, and the wind is just howling outside right now. So, it's one of those days that you say, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, and it'll change. But welcome in, everybody. This is Mark's Backyard Birds. I know we always have new people joining in. We have a lot of regulars. We're going to get the comments over here. Merry Christmas, everybody. We do and happy holidays. Do whatever you celebrate. We're going to be talking about kind of the year and it has and your favorite bird sightings for the year. Obviously, I couldn't load. I wish I could load 50 bird pictures to have ready for when people mention things, but I just got some examples in there. But if you've never joined us before, my name is Mark McKellar, and my wife and I, Melanie, who's over there in the producer chair, is we own the Backyard Bird Center in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a wildlife biologist by education and training and field work. Until a few years ago, well, now 23 years ago, we bought the Backyard Bird Center, and we run that here in Kansas City like a nature center. We based our business model on education. We feel like if we provide good, accurate biological information about birds and bird feeding and bird nesting and all that if people will support us. And you guys have been great. It has been a really good run for us. And this year's not any exception at all. It's just been going really well. And we thank you all for your support. And you welcome you into the channel. Again, if you're new, you will notice there's a whole lot of conversations going on, and I'll be trying to get people's comments up, but especially for people who have been on for a while, and they know each other, and they're saying hi and back and forth, because people join us from all points of the compass. We have a lot of West Coast people, East Coast people. We have sometimes international people, a lot of Canada people support the channel and will jump on with us. So it's great to have you in, and I hope you enjoy what you see here. I do a new video on a topic every Monday night. And then on Thursday nights, every other Thursday night, like tonight, is live where I answer questions and we talk about a different topic. And then the other 2 Thursdays of the month, I put a program on as well. Well, tonight was supposed to be a makeup date to have Stan Tequila, the author and photographer, on with us. I had to cancel on him back in November because of having to go out to North Carolina with my daughter. But we were trying to shoot for tonight, but his calendar just didn't work. So it'll be after the first year. We'll have Stan on again, and we'll let you know so you can have all your photography questions. And I know Andrew asked me about a camera today, and I was like, boy, I wish we had Stan on tonight because he could tell you a whole lot more than I can about that kind of thing. So, but we'll have him in the future. And remember, I always ask you, please suggest ideas for topics. Remember, and I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, I guess, and doing 2 programs a week for 3.5. We start getting thin on topics that I haven't talked about, and so we have to revisit ones. But I'm really interested to talk about what you want us to talk about. So welcome in, and you notice that I'm kind of doing this at first because it takes some of the especially Instagram and Facebook are a little slower getting on, so we have to give those viewers time to get logged in and join us. So first off, we always start with welcomes and see who's jumped on with us. Let's see Andrew was first in line. Welcome in, Andrew, from Cincinnati, Ohio. You guys have been having a winter out there. It might be out there after the first of the year. If we had Morgan, the doctor's appointment out there, and if I do, I'll let you know when I'm going to be in town. All right. Hey, Kurt, down the street from up here, really near where I'm sitting right now. Merry Christmas and happy holiday, everyone. It's very windy East Tennessee. So you got the same wind we got going on. Favorite bird sighting of 25, the belted kingfisher. Just enjoying watching them. They are fun birds. And of course, they're so noisy and things, so we love to hear them too. Great one, Steve. Welcome in. Sighting the Atlantic puffin in Ireland. the clown of the bird world, as people call them. I love the puffins. That is, they're you cannot smile when you see a puffin. That's all there is to it. Hello, Sandy from Kankakee, Illinois. I'm a member. Thank you. And like Andrew, you saw that little symbol by her name up there. That means she's a member of the community, which of course helps support us and keeps these videos coming. Appreciate you being a member, Sandy. Lauren, Boston. Happy holidays from St. Charles, Missouri. Had to report 2 new house sparrows hanging around with what appeared to be an avian keratin disorder. Oh, to the conservation department this week. Yeah, there's all kind of things that can happen like that with birds, and we just don't see it most of the time. So when things like that show up, and you see strange growths and things like that, it kind of unsettles us. Change to 0206. There you go. And that brings a point. If there's a name, some folks I been on, and I know your names, but if you want me to call you by your real name or your first name at least instead of your username, just type that in, and please let us know where you're checking in from. You guys are doing great. Ontario, Canada lets us know that if there's a name you want me to use with you, they can include that too. Hello, Carrie Beth. All right. She had the day off today. Well, no, you only had about half the day off, didn't you? She came in this morning to the store. We had to get a big shipment today. Had bird seed and feeders coming in, trying that last minute stocking for the last Christmas week rush. So, all right. Hello, Rick from North Carolina. I understand you guys had a plane accident out in Statesville today, and sorry to hear about that, or a tragedy. Family lost. Here's again, like I said, we'll see people saying hello to each other. That's for sure. Hello, Ellie, from right here in Kansas City, sitting down at the edge of my pond. A big heron flew down away from me, jumped in the pond, caught a fish, jumped back. That is, at sites like that, it's hard to put a dollar and cents value on it. We always say, how much joy birds bring to our lives. Hello, Frontier from SoCal. Welcome in. We got around 15 inches of snow already this winter, Andrew. You guys are getting it. We had maybe 4, and the only snowstorm we've had. The guy I trust the most predicting the snowstorms in our area is saying 18. He thinks probably for the Kansas City area, but the snow in our area just keeps staying to the north, right across. Iowa's been getting hammered. We're not very far south, but we just get some flurries here and there. So, hello, Carol, you and Jay joining us. Yep, from Platte County, Missouri. She's right up the road. Now, I tell you, Jay and Carol are very dedicated bird watchers. But last Sunday, we had a bird hike out at Smithville Lake, and it was really, really cold. And I'm going to tell them they backed out because of the cold temperatures. So you missed a good day of birding. We actually had some really good birds out there.
Hi.
Melanie doesn't like the camera very much. I try to get her to lean.
I've got my laptop over here.
She's over there keeping things going, that's for sure. Bradensburg, Merry Christmas, Kentucky. Nice to have you in. Carrie's saying hello. Hi, Lisa. We were got some. Thank you very much. Lisa sent us a calendar. She got this.
Is it mailed? So nice.
Absolutely. She's made a calendar of her photos, a bunch of her photos.
I call that like happy mail because we weren't expecting it.
Yeah, she was very kind of you. Thank you very, very much. Really great pictures in there. Like we were voting on our favorite ones in there. I love the chickadee just because I love the expression on his face. It seems like he's kind of dazed and confused. Walt Moody from South Georgia, welcome in. Bradenburg, Kentucky. Oh, I got behind here, Millie. You got to help me out. For me, the Canada jay, but also seeing a Canada warbler in Wilsonsburg. It's a great sightings, I tell you, especially when you're hadn't been at bird watching very long. I know when we were up at the lake on Saturday, Drew, who works for us now, was saying, that he's getting live birds up there. He said, but I still can't wait for it until spring. He said, last spring I had so much fun seeing all these bright and colorful birds. I can't wait till this spring. And you get bit by that. Capturing Michigan, you get to see that. I'm sorry, but that picture you post on the community page of that, the long-tailed duck was amazing. this past weekend we had a rare buried thrush. Yeah, I love them. All right, admit, yep, that's wonderful. Yeah, they sound like old time telephones when they sing. It's a great bird. But yeah, getting this far east, we've had them like, I don't know, probably 14 or 15 records down here in Missouri, but man, they are basically just one days. They show up at somebody's bird feeder, show up somebody's bird bath, and before a lot of people can get to see them, they move on. Cold. It was very cold, and the wind. We were lucky. The wind was down, and the sun came out, so it wasn't real bad. But there were a lot of birds out there Sunday. You can't do. Oh, how do I keep getting?
They're just rolling in so fast.
Oh yeah, made it. Absolutely. I love it. It did. It made it in time. And Carrie kept a great secret. She knew it was coming, and she didn't even tip her cap. So that's good. Merry Christmas, Denise. Good to see you. And I answered a question from you today. Right now, something's wacky's happening with some of the like Shopify. If you can't ask a question, there's certain platforms that are going to Melanie instead of me, and we're trying to get that straightened out. So I can be 2 or 3 days behind on answering questions because of that. But I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Excellent. Welcome in. Well, one of the things I thought I would cover real quick, let's get into some of the conservation things, and then we'll get into the favorite bird sightings. But coming up next week, over the next 2-week period, are the Christmas bird counts. Christmas bird counts from Audubon. They've been doing them over 100 years, I think now, and they are great ways to get involved. And they're usually in your community, wherever you are. Now, maybe if you're a real rural somewhere out, that you may not, but especially around cities, your local Audubon chapter runs the Christmas bird counts. And what they do is they have count circles. And they're drawn on a map, and where the boundaries are. And the organizer, there's a team person who organizes the volunteers, and they divide up the count circle, as it's called, and they have a team that works the northeast quadrant, on the left, the northwest, and the central, and they have it broken down. And you go out and you record as many the birds as you can. And at the end of the day, it's usually fun. You usually get together for dinner or something, and you compile. People submit the birds that they saw, and you compile them all, and all that data, of course, goes to be officially documented. And that's a great way for scientists to know where birds are. And it's been, like I said, we got 100 years worth of data from those Christmas bird counts. And I know Ruth is doing the one down in Kansas City proper. I used to, but now they do it the weekend before, the Saturday before Christmas. And with retail, I can't really do it. But it's called the Trimble count for Kansas City. It's the northeast side of town, and it's centered on Smithville Lake. And so I usually help with that one if I can. I know there's one down in Johnson County. They're around the city, and Audubon does a great job of recruiting volunteers and getting people participating. And the data is really, really important. And then the other one that I want to mention, and I put a link in the description below the video where you can click on the information, Audubon Christmas bird counts. It'll take you to it and get you the history and things like that, and hopefully be able to get you a way to find out who the organizer is in your area. But Project Feeder Watch is still going on. You can jump in at any time. If you missed the start of it, doesn't matter. You can do Feeder Watch from right now to the end of the season. That data is really, really important, especially, we talked last week, and I know Denise was asking me today and her email about the birds being slow in her areas. And some person just said today that she only had like 2 chickadees all day long. And she's wondering, well, there's a whole program on that, and there's lots of reasons why that could be. But by participating in Project Feeder Watch and these Christmas bird counts, that gives us, the scientists, a snapshot in where birds are. Maybe birds settle a little further south than you this winter, maybe a little bit further north, and maybe your resident birds, if it was a really good year and it's pretty mild, they might be eating on natural foods longer than they normally do. So all that's going on, and you can help by participating in some of these counts. All right, good. Oh, yours is the 27th. Excellent, Sandy. I'm wimped out for his work. It was cool. I understand. It is brutal. I mean, up your guys' way. Like I said, I've been in Duluth, Minnesota in the winter when it was nice or not too bad, and got out and was able to hike and then we were up there one winter and it was brutal. And I didn't want to be out of the car for very long at all. So I understand that. Absolutely. All right. So I wanted to plug those two for sure because getting participation in those is really important for birds and for science. And don't want the other myth. We talk about brush piles a lot and providing cover for birds. And this is a time I always remind people: a live Christmas tree being discarded is a great brush pile in your yard, and the needles will stay on it for a good 2 months or so, even if not more. And so some people will take their old Christmas tree and drive a stake in the yard near their feeders, tie up the Christmas tree so it doesn't go blowing off into the neighbor's yard. And a lot of times, if you don't have one and you use an artificial tree and you want to get one, there's usually a collection point for them. Like I know the Missouri Department of Conservation, and they have collection points around area lakes that people can drop them off there, and they will sink them into the lakes for fish cover and usually you can just grab one of those off the pile and put it in your truck and bring it home. They don't mind, and what you're doing is providing cover for birds. So that's just a thing I like to remember to mention every December. So, all right. Favorite birds of the season. Like I said, I know everybody, and this should be a very wide topic. And I know we're already getting people's comments, and you can be from a common bird in your backyard. I mean, one of my favorite sightings, of course, was the bluebirds nesting in my bluebird box this year. It's the first year I've had them nesting in my box in the new yard. And of course, that really thrilled me to see the bluebirds raising young in the bluebird box in my yard. So I count that as one of my favorite sightings of the year. Let's see, I just threw that out there to get started, and we've already talked about, let's see, I know we had an Atlantic puffin in Ireland there. Oh, I missed this a while ago. Stateville Airport in about 7 miles. Oh my goodness. They called me. I was afraid it was someone that was a racing family. Yeah. Yeah, it was a tragic. An NASCAR and his whole family, I understand, his 2 kids and his wife. That was really tragic. All right. Wow, 16 months, Andrew. He's been a member. Thank you so much. All right. So, and I know we had that, and then let's see what's going on. There's Ruth from Lee Summit. I missed her. Again, I got skipped way down. Having a downy with graffiti on my finch feeder, Millet and Niger. Yes, they will definitely. Niger, yeah, for sure, and Millet. I love it. They love darting their tongue in there and getting it. Bill's from down in Texas. All right, Justin, gifted. Thank you so much, Justin, an avid supporter of the channel. I really appreciate it. Stay positive. Northern Indiana, welcome in. How did I miss all you guys? I am so sorry.
I think it's because they're so coming in so fast, and it just.
Justin, I also think that's just a family. I hope that daughter's feeling better. She is improving every day. She's here, and it's going to be a recovery time, and she's probably going to have to do physical therapy and stuff. But she's here with us, and it's wonderful. And you guys, most of you, I guess, heard about the passing of. The producer dog, Sophie. We're very, very sad, but having Lily, Morgan's dog, here with us has certainly been a good, healing process. And that's wonderful.
These right now?
Oh yeah. Let me do this real quick. I got to get this back to here.
Okay. So I don't know if they can hear me, but I started working on stickers, and I had made this sticker of Sophie. She's got a Chiefs bow in her hair, and it says Producer Sophie. And they were just going to be my initial runarounds, playing around trying to figure these out. And just so happened I got them done Saturday before she passed on Monday. So we're going to be giving these away.
Anybody who wants one, just type in.
Actually, just have them email me at melanie@backyardbirdcenter.com. Okay, give me your name and address. Yeah, I'll put all that in here. We've got some other stickers that are not. They're not.
These are experimental.
Yeah, these are all experimental. So I'll stick some of them in there too. Of anybody who wants a Producer Sophie I'm gonna show.
And some bird stickers. We can
Yeah.
stick some in an envelope and send them to you.
Yeah, maybe like a little, yeah. So anyway, I'll stick that on there, but just wanted to let you guys know. So in 2026, I intend to have sticker packs that we'll have for sale online and in the store. So, and all these stickers are photos made from photos of customers
Yeah.
and friends and family, anybody who has shared their photos with us and said it's okay to share. That's what I'm using to make the stickers. So they'll be unique. They won't be stickers that you could get anywhere else.
Welcome in, live right here in Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, Sandy, great. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. A reminder, if you would, please like the videos. And if you have friends that may be remotely interested in birds, please share them. That always helps us out. If you know how YouTube works, the more people like us, the more comments that get left, the more likes and things that we get, they are more likely to spread the word and put me in places where people can click on and take them to. The people find us that way all the time, and we really appreciate you taking time to do things like that. Hi, Boston guy. Oh, got some goldfinches up there. Okay, Junko's starting to see some trees. Well, yes, tree sparrows this weekend. We saw a bunch of them. I know that Carrie and Kurt had some at their water feature, and they're starting to show up. White throats. I haven't had a white throat yet. Great. Hey, that's great. They're coming in right on time for you. Welcome into you folks. Hello, Jim from Minneapolis. Welcome in. Another real regular here of the program. All right. Did I get caught up? I think I did. All right. I'm going to let Melanie do some scrolling to see if I miss anybody.
Okay.
There. All right. Allison from Kansas City, another Kansas City person there. Okay. So, anybody else? Don't see it down here if anybody's been putting in favorite birds.
I'll start down here and try to help us figure it out.
What we got? Yep. So, last spring, staying in a cabin near Ozark, Missouri, we were able to hear both the Chuck-Will's widow and the Eastern whippoorwill. That's awesome. Yep. We had a breeding bird route we did near Nevada, Missouri, which ain't not too far from where you were. And at the starting point, the first count, every year we did that. Ruth and I did that for 11 years. I think we ended up running that route. And every morning at that first stop, it was still just barely getting light. We would have both chucks and whippoorwills in on that first count every year. It was really cool to hear. Those are, again, another one of those heard but rarely seen birds. Both of those are excellent. Oh, the amount of rose-breasted grosbeaks. Yeah. And they are so beautiful. And I think somebody sent me an email today about their sighting, and they said that rose-breasted grosbeaks of springs were their highlight bird for the year. All right. Multiple pileated. And by the way, hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to get this in. I predicted that somebody was going to say pileated woodpecker. so I went ahead and put this picture in there because I expected somebody to say pileated. They're such impressive birds. And I also, Kurt, as it just happens, I also put in a barred owl picture in here. And I tried to put your picture of a barred owl, but for some reason I couldn't get it to load. So I had to switch to this one that we saw out at Amity Woods this spring or fall. It was actually in the fall we saw this bird.
Okay. So several people didn't see the post about Sophie.
Oh,
so I think we just need to. So I know there's a post on the Backyard Bird Center page. Maybe did we put it on the community page too?
I thought so.
I don't know. It's been this kind of stressful 2 weeks here, but yes, she passed away. Thank you guys so much. She was 17 years old, and even though she was still full of personality, she just went down
really fast, and her health, and she getting lost and bumping, getting stuck under things, and it was so sad. And oh yeah, thank you, and thank you for all the well wishes. We will miss producer Sophie, absolutely. Yeah, fur babies, man, they crawl inside your heart and never leave. Don't they?
Yeah. So just email me, and it might take me a few days to get them out, and we'll get them mailed out to anybody who wants them. So let's see. Did we see this one?
I want to say my favorite sighting this year is spotting a light morph great horned owl in the backyard. That's cool. Yeah, you're in Southern California down there. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen those light morph great horns. I think in Arizona is where I've seen them up in actually on a nest up in a tree when I was down there one year. Uh, that's a beautiful great horned owl. They vary from really, really dark to really, really light. And that's a great sighting. I love that. All right. A flock of cedar waxwings and a yellow rover never. Aren't new birds just that fun? And also, then you talk about two beautiful ones. I know Kurt had posted a video of on his water feature, his blink camera, that man, a cedar waxwing, a beautiful adult cedar waxwing landed right in camera view. You can see the chartreuse belly and the red tips on the wings where they get their names. Beautiful, beautiful birds. A northern flicker stopped by. They are beautiful, impressive birds. And of course, yours are red shafted, right? Because we get yellow shafted here, but out where you are, and boy, yeah, they catch people's attention. They're stunning birds. Probably in my yeah, that's right. You have them up in that big giant tree out back there. Then we get
A hi
that's
from
one.
Ariana.
Hi, Ariana from Arizona.
Uh,
Been reading it on Facebook groups that we have.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep. You can hear it. You'll hear them before you see them. That's for sure. So you need to, yeah, as much time as you can spend out there and zone in on that call, that laughing call, and then be patient. Watch. Yeah, it's been slow for a lot of people. Now, I know this time of year down there would be quite a bit different. They don't get the stress that we do, here. And I imagine you've got lots of food for them to eat down there in Arizona. That might not be coming in.
Okay. This notification thing
It's driving
just,
my wife
yeah,
crazy.
it is. So I'm trying to be very consistent to get an email reminder set out on Wednesday or Thursday. So make sure you're on our email list.
Mhm.
That'll be the best way. And then for whatever reason on YouTube, when you subscribe, you got to make sure you've clicked that bell and click on it again and make sure it turns on notifications.
Mhm.
But a lot of people, not just you guys, other people too, are complaining that YouTube is not sending out the notification. So just be patient with us, and we are back on track getting the calendar updated on the website with all the YouTube lives.
Mhm.
So if you want to take a look at that, I think it's just updated through the end of December, I believe, but it will get updated for the first quarter. And then that way, maybe you can set a reminder on your phone or
And it
something. So
has all our bird hikes on there too. So even though you might not be able to attend, you can see where we're going. Steve.
oh,
Oh, fur babies. You
yeah.
lost. Everybody knows that pain. If you've ever owned a pet, you know how much it hurts. A lot of at my aunt's house. Yeah, habitat's everything, Ariana. The better the habitat, the more diverse the plants and the food sources that you have, and especially insects. People who live out in rural communities have so much better habitat generally than they do in urban areas because a lot of the plants are, uh, you know, cultivars planted that are not good for birds and insects. So that's why we preach a lot of the native plant thing and trying to create better habitat in your yard to attract them. Thank you, Frontier. Yeah, absolutely. Sedalia, Missouri.
Carolina Wren.
This morning. I had one singing in the backyard when we went to fill the feeders. I hear them, they sing all year long, but hearing them when it's that cold, it's like, wow, you guys are carrying on out there. Yep.
Oh, there's nothing prettier than a cardinal.
Cardinal in the snow. Absolutely. That's, usually when we get a good snow, I'll start getting questions like, are the Cardinals brighter this year than they've ever been? Because they're seeing them against that white snow and they just pop. Absolutely, Ellie. Red-bellied woodpeckers are impressive birds. They're beautiful and they're, they don't take any gruff off of the starlings, and there's a lot of good reasons, a lot of reasons to love a red belly woodpecker for sure. We're at a scissor-tail flycatcher still hanging out at our local park. That's good, Bill. I understand. There's some talk of that scissor-tails numbers going down in the breeding season down there. That they're actually shifting north, and there's some fear that the scissor-tails won't be nesting down your way a whole lot longer for far fewer with them because of the climate change and the insect populations. And that, I mean, we have them nesting north of St. Joe, probably even southern Iowa now, which was, whenever you lived here, Bill, it was a prize to see a scissor flycatcher south of Kansas City. So,
Okay.
all right, my favorite sighting is when goldfish just finally showed up. That can make a difference. I mean, especially when you're waiting for them and waiting for them, and then when they show up, and now hopefully they'll be there, and you get to watch them molt into the breeding plumage. Yellow rump whirler, that's a good sighting. Yeah, yesterday. You think they're very hardy, Lisa, and they overwinter. Most years we'll find them up here on Christmas bird counts, and especially in recent years where it used to be they moved further south during the harshest part of winter. Maybe they're kind of the last warbler species to move out, and the first that we see in the spring. So you may still see them, but a lot of time Christmas bird counts are pretty much gone. Let's see. There's Derek from Illinois. Welcome in, Derek. About as the male cardinals aren't fighting this year. Yes, in the winter they're very tolerant of each other, and they like the red winged blackbirds when they're feeding together this time of year and they're laying, they have the epaulettes covered. You don't see the red, and people are saying, oh, they're yellow winged. No, they're covering the red because they don't want to be aggressive to one another. A lot of times the cardinals, when they're feeding together like that, they'll lay that crest down. And so it's not a sign of aggression. So they can, you get food, I get food, and they're more tolerant this time of year. Now, I think, what if they shifted habitat down there on you? The cardinal should be down there. My fellow Illinois, there are several people from Illinois on, Derek. Absolutely. All right. Well, another bird I put on there, I thought people might comment on, are the red-breasted nuthatches sighting this year, because this seems to be a really good year through the lower 48s for them. And we don't, we can go 2 or 3 years without seeing red-breasted. Now, I know you guys up north, you get to see them all the time in the winter, especially, and they nest all up your way. But down here, this is a fun sighting. We enjoy seeing the red-breasted nuthatches come in. They're so bold, and of course they're funny, and they chatter, and you go out to pick up the peanut feeder to change the peanuts, and they land on it, and they sit there and look at you. So that's a bird I thought maybe that somebody might mention tonight as a favorite sighting. All right. It's done to see a yellow-bellied sapsucker in my yard at Bath recently. Absolutely. Again, another bird that moves down and the parts in the winter months. And they do. I'm like, water's the key. I mean, you know me. I'm gonna talk about the importance of unfrozen water. And yes, I usually see them on my peanut feeder, and not as much on my when I feed suet, but I see them on the peanut feeders. And yes, I have had them on the bird bath. That's for sure. I have a white-breasted nuthatch not seen yet. I hear him. Oh yeah, yep. He comes and gets the peanuts and in sunflower kernels. So if you got sunflower hearts, they love those as well. Yeah, they were moving. Bill, you're on close enough to the piney woods down there in Arkansas and East Texas, and those areas where they spend a lot of the winter. Those birds come through here pretty quickly. They pass through. A lot of them pass through, and people see them early. Well, those are settling into those pine forests down there in the south. And then later, we tend to get the ones that stay here on bird feeders come in a little bit after that first wave that comes through and heads down your way. The one thing I miss out. Oh yeah. Yep, Steve, I understand that. I love the little brown-headed nuthatches. For you guys up north, you've probably never seen them, but unless you've traveled to the south, to me, they are the ultimate little squeaky toy. Yep, and they're tiny. They're smaller than the red-breasteds, not a lot smaller, but they're so cute. Well, I agree with you there. Well, how about one of mine for this year? This is the female king eider that showed up, and I talked about them last month. They showed up at a lake, Perry Lake, over in Kansas, about an hour from here. And this bird should be in the waters off Alaska in the winter, and it breeds the top of the world. And this bird down here in Kansas, that's the first sighting in the state of Kansas since 1943 or 42 or something. I know she's not nearly as pretty as the male. The male has the blue and orange on his bill and white. It's a beautiful bird, but she's an impressive bird. You can the size of that head, and they're sea ducks, and they dive down. And she, of all things, she was hanging out with a group of about 40 American coots out there and swimming with them like an identity crisis. But, if it's a life bird, first one I've ever seen, of course, that's going to make my list for sightings for this year. All right. What we got here?
I have learned
there.
It's
I haven't seen a red-breasted nuthead yet, but I do hear them. All right. However, we still, that's right. Denise, that's a really good point. That's what I was trying to make a little bit earlier with folks who, if you live in areas that it's not that harsh and you still have insects flying around and a lot of them present, then the birds are going to take advantage of that while they can. And that can explain why feeders are slower, might be slower in your area.
That's the list, the email.
Oh, you go into it.
They can click on that and they can enter their emails so that we can send reminder emails.
Okay. All right. That'll get you on the, when the reminder emails go out, you'll on that list. Me? I don't. Here, Andrew, here's mine. This is my camera. I'm really not a photographer, but they sent me that OM1 and I used that and I enjoyed it. But I always say, I don't have time for photography when I'm leading bird hikes. I'm always me trying to find the next bird, and I don't have time. I don't take the time sitting and taking pictures and enjoy it. I'm trying to get people on the bird, and then I hear the next bird, or I try to find that. And so photography's just never been my thing. So luckily enough, I have a lot of good people that are good at photography who come along my hikes with me, and those are the pictures that you see. I don't want people to believe that the pictures that you're seeing are, and I put up here. I give credit to all these photos in the description below. A lot of them from Mary and Kurt and Brian Voorhees, who's on regularly. Those guys take pictures for me and send them to me, and I use those because if it were up to me, we wouldn't have a lot of really good
Andrew
pictures.
Should post in the Facebook community group, and maybe people, Lisa, Sandy, those guys can tell you what they're using.
Yeah, I mean, Sandy, like I said, you guys want to chime in with what kind of cameras you like and you're using. And that way help Andrew out. All right, yes, Carrie Beth got to go out and see the king eider with Jay and Carol, and a yellow belly hanging around. And those are two welcome visitors every winter. I love it when they show up. When they're as do their challenging things. Yeah, rocking back and forth with their wings out. Try to look big and intimidating. You're right. And yeah, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour. And I think it blew off one of my feeders and took a deck arm down with it. It wasn't tightened down really well. I got to go down and get that in the morning. Well, I tell you, the wind was howling today. You're not right. You're not wrong there. Just bought a Lumix G9 II tonight with a 100 to 400. Can't wait to try it out. Sounds like a good camera. So many people say Nikon and Canon but I know there's a lot of good cameras out there, and some of them really take bird photography seriously when they put packages together and things like that. All right, so we got the king eider. I'm gonna take that off. Here's another one of mine. This is a red-footed booby that I saw on the last couple of days of the cruise as we were headed back. We were out right off the coast of Cuba, coming around, headed back to Florida. And these red-footed boobies, these dark morphs, there's a light morph and there's a dark morph, were flying around the ship, and I got to see them several times. It was great. I mean, these are oceanic birds.
That was my fight. Was that the one
You're the one that called me and told me there's something flying around out here, and
I knew it was different.
she knew it was different. Well, she did it twice. The first time she said, "Mark, there's a bird out here. I don't know what it is." Those ended up being there was two peregrine falcons flying around the boat, and then the second time she called me up, it was the red-footed boobies, which is great because my wife loves to sit and listen to the ocean whenever she's on a cruise ship and read a book and just watch the ocean. So, yeah, she's the one who saw that for me and called me up. And then the other bird that was my favorite of the year was this magnificent bird. I've really been looking forward to seeing a white-tailed tropic bird for a very long time, another oceanic species. And we were on Grand Cayman. The guy took us, he said, now they can be off these set of rocks right here at this stop, and we'll see. And we walked out there, and sure enough, these guys were soaring around, and they not nest in those rocks that they're on the coast there, and they were flying in, and that is a spectacular bird, folks, and they are as beautiful as they look right there. Although this isn't my picture because they were much further away than
We
on the
tried.
camera. We tried, but with a cell phone, they look like white specks flying around. That's about it. So, all right, let's see if anybody's chimed in with more. Okay, Andrew, never thought about asking a Facebook group. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We guys have questions asked because,
People love sharing, on this, and they're what they enjoy, and everybody started somewhere, Andrew, and especially with bird photography, bird watching, binoculars, field guides. People, they are passionate about their hobby and they want to share that with folks. So, yep, feel free to ask. A couple of red-headed woodpeckers, right, Kurt? The ones with the black heads. I saw some video of them coming to your group.
That's the Facebook group in case anybody needs to join.
All right, a Facebook group. Better late than night, Jimmy. Welcome in. Absolutely. Favorite sighting this year was a great crested flycatcher. I didn't know they came around here. Yes, you have them down there in that part of the world. We had them in eastern North Carolina and all over North Carolina, but they are pretty common in the piney woods down there in eastern North Carolina. Favorite sighting was a warbler in Cozumel. I tried to steal a piece of that. That's funny. Hard to ID this time. Yes, winter plumage and juvenile birds. Yeah, good to make it out that it was even a warbler, right, Marianne? Yes, for sure. Last April, I photographed. I don't. I maybe is that a mistype? I don't know, Sandy. Multitasking, that mixing and rolling. Oh, listen to Melanie over here.
Carrie, I love you.
Carrie makes dynamite peanut butter balls, and we look forward to them every Christmas. Hopefully, she's going to share this year. I have some blue jays visiting my peanut feed. And a lot of peanut feeders don't pick up an activity until now. That's because acorns and hickory nuts, things like that. A lot of birds that favor peanuts are storing a lot of those the tree nuts, and then once those start to run low, that's when they tend to visit peanut feeders. And a friend of mine used to say, really, my peanut feeder it's like mid-December on, is what he expects. And that's pretty good time frame for sure. Common loon. Oh, there you go. That was yeah. Happy to report it finally got free of the hook and line. Excellent. That's good news. I know they get stuck on smaller bodies of water, because they have to have a long running takeoff to fly because they're heavy birds. I'm glad to hear that it was a happy ending.
Okay, I shouldn't be on the naughty
list. Melanie's hoping she's not on the naughty list. This is to our backyard. There's a Cooper's hawk. That's it. They are entertaining. They call it doves. That's their favorite prey right there. We waited to leave the house until it was finished. Just beautiful. They are. The story I have to tell about Cooper's hawks and mourning doves is a good friend of mine a few years ago said he walked out of his house. He was going to work, and he had bird feeders and everything. And he said right along the path beside, he was walking out to his car, there was this mourning dove on the ground. They were just sitting there, and of course his first instincts were, "Oh no, there's something wrong. This mourning dove is injured." So he actually walked over to it. He was going to try to pick it up. He was going to put it in a box and maybe take it to Lakeside Nature Center or whatever. Well, the mourning dove burst off and took flight. And right there in front of him, this Cooper's hawk came out of this tree, nailed that mourning dove right in front of him, and flew off. He felt horrible that he had caused the death of this poor mourning dove who was just trying to stay still and hide. But those Coopers, they really zero in on Coopers. I mean, on mourning doves. They're just easy prey for them. All right.
With peanut butter balls.
Yeah, you call them Buckeye. Okay, well, that makes sense there, Ohio. Yeah.
Thank you, Carrie.
Mort Millings over here breathing easier now. Last week on my birthday, I had 2 northern flickers in my bird tub. As one time, and shortly after, a Cooper's hawk looked in to get into it. Thinking, send some more food for me. That's right. And I was being asked about flickers today. Again, I get questions all day long, folks. And so and flickers are very nomadic birds because people are like, well, they were just there and I haven't seen them. That's what the flickers do, folks. They move. And, you might see them 2 or 3 days in a row and you're all celebrating, and then you won't see them for 2 weeks or a month. They move around a lot. But, I've always had best luck with them on peanut feeders and also sunflower kernels. Suet too. But for me, they seem to like the fine sunflower chips. They land on the finch feeder and they dart their tongue in there to get it. So if you try that, maybe that'll get you some good results. So, all right, where are we? That's good. Absolutely. Are we caught up?
I think we're actually caught up.
Absolutely. You guys got any questions? I mean, if you don't have a favorite bird, you got any questions? We got about 10 minutes left. So we will, if not, this is the last live of the year, and we'll be back on in early January. But we do have a couple more videos to post at just one on Christmas night. I'll have one up there. Not sure what the topic is going to be yet. So, all right, let's see. Looks like people are. Oh, that's Sandy's. We've been enjoying watching a northern harrier hunt daily in the field. Absolutely, we saw those on our Sunday bird hike out of a grassland. Like I said, my buddy's grandfather used to call them field drivers. They're flying low over the grasslands. They're fun to watch. Have you ever seen a hawk? Yes. I've got several pictures actually now, Sandy. But never getting. I've got Mississippi kites in a bird bath photo by a neighbor. I've got great horned owls in bird baths. I got barred owls in bird baths.
I got hawk in our bird bath.
We had in my bird bath on my deck. I've had a red-shouldered hawk and a Cooper's hawk in that bird bath this summer. Mine's obviously shallow because that's what I want, but they'll get water and drink out of it. So yes, definitely. We show my suet and they're finally eating it. Good, Andrew. Yeah, I wouldn't do suet longer than a month. I mean, especially if it's just going to start to get rancid, and the birds will let you know it. So good job. We had very few hummingbirds. Did you? Well, we did a survey on one of the summer lives about what people thought what their hummingbird numbers were like, and a lot of people. It's funny; it's so varied within an area. But a lot of people felt like it was pretty much normal this year. But some people had less, and some people had more. So again, it depends. It's so habitat dependent, and it's also natural food availability and. We know we're losing birds. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But that's why we, like I said, I'm promoting doing these bird counts and things, because we can tell if the populations were heavier a bit south this year or north this year, and we have to study trends in birds. Are the numbers up or down? Because you can't count every hummingbird in the country. So, but we monitor trends if the population trends are up or down, and before we start pushing panic buttons. Now, obviously, there's birds we do really worry about because their numbers are very low and declining. So, but the ruby-throated hummingbirds are not one of those. They've actually done very well with urbanization. Thank you, Ellie, reminding for the hit the like button. I really appreciate that. all winter. Yeah, again, providing suet, you can't go wrong because unless you got raccoons that raid you every night, and of course we talk about battling those. But yeah, remember suet is the nutritional substitute for insects in winter. It's what birds get from suet. A lot of people just avoid it because it's a little messier. Peanuts are cleaner, but they're both good to provide for birds in the winter months because they're high fat, high reward. I mean that fat turns into body heat very quickly for them. The show was walking into a local mall for some reason. Oh, God. Attacked by a great tail wren. They're sizable birds. Absolutely. I wonder if there's a nest close by there. That was rude. We had a red-shouldered hawk at our pond about a year ago. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys that have larger water structures can certainly have better. Like I know Ruth has got video of Coopers and red tails and things in her water feature, and yours is such a great size for the birds of prey to be able to bathe and things. And they can't bathe in my bird bath, but they can certainly get a drink. Thanks for the suggestion for use a suet log. Absolutely. I really prefer the suet logs over traditional suet cages and things. Just my preference, and I find the brewers really like them. Yep. And it's a good peanut butter cornmeal mixture is also great to use in that. I have some people that in some of the holes they do the peanut butter cornmeal or and mixture, and I got a whole video on how to do that mixture. And then other ones they use suet in, peanut suet or a fruit suet or whatever, and the variety and see and just do an experiment, see what the birds like the best. Yeah, there you go, Andrew. Perfect example. People, some people, oh, I didn't have, I had less, and other people, well, God, they were all over at my house. So it just varies year to year. Has been changed. And then the last year, so man, yeah. And at this time of year, that's not that common. But I mean, that bird evidently is maintaining a territory around your feeders, and he's trying to chase off those other male cardinals he sees in your window, the reflection. Um, yeah, it does seem early. We've had instances where cardinals did it all year long, and a buddy of mine who had, like I said, who had animal damage control business was trying to help a family out. And this bird went on for 365 days that year. And we were convinced he had probably knocked himself crazy or something because he shouldn't have been doing it during the winter months. Last year he started to sing. Yeah, they do. They in January is about time you'll hear cardinals starting to sing. They're not getting real serious yet, but they start vocalizing, and the males and females will duet. Carolina wrens, of course, are singing. Red bellies start really singing in January as well. A little too early for them to lay eggs, obviously, but they'll start setting up those territories. Oh, jealous. That's a life bird for me, Frontier. Lawrence's goldfinch. That's right. Were they at your feeders? I wonder. I mean, we went looking for them at a spot in San Diego County when we were down last time we were down there bird watching. It was a real weedy field, and they had been seen there fairly regularly. But we scoped and scanned and walked around. We never did see them. So, yeah, one day I'm gonna get a Lawrence's goldfinch. Peter, by I'll be ordering. Yeah, there you go. We'll be ready to ship it out, won't we, Carrie? I saw a recipe for suet adding flour in it. Flour. I don't know why it would hurt them, especially if you mix it up. Flour might be for the consistency because we don't like it super tacky like peanut butter. We like to mix in cornmeal or fine sunflower chips. That might be the thinking there, mixing that in. People have all kind of custom formulas they use, and they'll mix, lard and peanut butter and then raisins and different things in to make their suet cakes. And you can find a ton of them on the internet. Only unsalted nuts. Yep, that's correct. Unsalted, and I've a video going about being careful this time of year because so many people have candy gifted to them and buy bags and all this stuff, and they buy them and they wonder if it's okay to put those out for birds. And no, not if they're salted at all. I mean, only raw peanuts should be used to feed birds. By birds, and the additional sodium, of course, it makes them certainly water hungry for sure. So yeah, it's not good for them. So definitely make sure you're on the raw. Somebody asked about blanched. Blanched just means they don't have the skins on them. So yeah, they're fine. They usually they just use water in that process. So but no, never salt, never flavored candies, anything like that. It's a good question. Well, guys, it has been a fun evening, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you would, definitely give us a like. And
Scroll down. I think there's one more comment.
we have oh my goodness, yeah, maybe you did it.
Um,
I have Mockingbird problem so far. I'm
and
going
then
to jinx it.
and
Yes.
Sandy's memorable event. That's the last one.
All right. After experiences, it was a golden crown kinglet stuck in your garage. Yeah. Yeah, they get in there at dusk. That's right. When it gets dark, only give them one source of light to lure them out. That's the best way to do it. All right. Good participation. I love you guys from all over. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah, and it's always fun. You guys are such great participants, and I hope you guys picked up on a thing or two, learned a little bit, and appreciate for what people are seeing. I mean, I know you guys in Boston don't see Lawrence's goldfinches, and that's wonderful. And I'm throwing in a few birds internationally. They did all this summer, so it's birding is such a personal thing. I've been asked about life lists. I've done programs on life lists. It really is up to you, unless you're wanting to compare your life list with other birds. Then there are rules that you should adhere to. But most people, a life list is just their own personal thing. So I hope you maintain one. If not, you get started on soon. You'll really enjoy it. All right. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. Thank you. And Carrie, you're biased. Thank you. Stay warm and Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Oh, it's been wonderful. You guys, I hope you have a safe and happy Christmas. We'll talk to you in the new year. And everyone, we really, really appreciate the support. Until next time, let's talk birds.